Okay, let's continue our discussion on chapter number 7. Till now, we have seen what is a cyber terrorism. I think we were talking about this concept. What is cyber terrorism? It is denial of access to someone or gaining unauthorized access to any computer system, then introducing a computer contaminant into the computer system, then enabling either death, injury, or damage to any life or property. Okay, so whenever we are talking about cyber terrorism, you have to remember these points. Denial of access. Okay, for example, we had seen that video where Tom Cruise was entering into the building. If the system was hacked and if he was an authorized user, the system will not allow him to gain access. Okay, that is what is called as denial of access. Then if he is a hacker and he is not authorized person and still by hacking the system, if he is gaining access, then it is called as unauthorized access. Then if he is introducing any virus or any worm or any malware using any device, then he's infecting the computer system. Okay, or he is introducing a computer contaminant into the computer system. Then if he somehow manages to damage the computer system in such a way that it may blast in the computer room and a certain person may die, then as it is in relation to life and property, either death, injury, or damage, it will also be called as cyber terrorism. Okay. What is the punishment for cyber terrorism? It is lifetime imprisonment. Okay, lifetime imprisonment. Okay, I have not written it here that way. Just remember it as lifetime imprisonment. After this, now let's see section number 6. Okay, let's revise the earlier sections once again.
So the North Korea thing, would you say that, sir?
Yes.
The North Korea part which we were discussing.
Yes, yes. What did North Korea did?
The Sony, it attacked Sony by not picturing it in theater something. I don't remember the exact story, sir, but it was related to an example of terrorism, inter-terrorism is what I know.
Okay, what they did was North Korea. Everyone was joking about North Korea because of their cyber spaces and all, because North Korea is not that much developed in case of cyberspace. So what did North Korea did was it hacked into the systems of Sony, and after that what it did, it introduced a lot of computer contaminants into the servers, computer systems, computer resources and all. Okay, which were denying access to the uh, users and all, unauthorized access. But it did not do it only for one branch, it did it for all the branches, okay, all the franchises and all the branches. So when such an act is committed, it is called as cyber terrorism. It was an act conducted by North Korea in relation to Sony. Okay. Hacking into all the branches, franchises, servers of Sony, and then denying access to the users. That is what North Korea cyber hackers did in relation to Sony. Okay, whenever I am saying North Korea, I'm not talking about the entire nation. I'm talking about a certain team of people from North Korea. Even in chapter number 3, you are supposed to remember this example for cyber terrorism. It is one of the cyber attack techniques. Okay, just the difference is it is on a very large scale, cyber terrorism. Okay, you just can't call hacking a terrorism. Okay, terrorism is a very harsh word. That is why. Okay, let's just revise everything we have seen till now. Okay, remember these 3 sections at a time: 65, 66, and 66B. Okay, here we are talking about computer source code. Then section 43. Then receiving stolen device. Okay, and remember it as 251. Okay? 251. Then 66C and 66E. 66C doesn't talk about cheating. 66D talks about cheating. 66C talks about e-signing. Okay. Here in both the cases, there is no or, it is and. Okay, and also the technique is called as masquerading. Then punishment for violation of privacy. Here we are talking about the private areas, that if you capture image of the private areas and you send it to someone or you keep it with yourself, it is called as punishment for, it is called as violation of privacy. Okay. Then 66E, then 66F is cyber terrorism. Okay. Now after this 67, 67A and 67B. Now we have already seen this in a lot of movies, that if you are publishing or transmitting any obscene material in electronic form, okay, which is actually of prurient interest. What is prurient interest? It is excessive interest in sexual matters. Okay, it is excessive interest in sexual matters. It is called as prurient interest. Okay, this is a term you have to use in your answer if they ask a question about it. I don't think they will ever ask anything about it, but still, okay. So there is no mention, or they have not defined in detail what is obscene material, but even if you are giving bad words or talking any abusive language and all, it is also considered to be something obscene. So even if you are sending a message to someone and in that message you are giving bad words or talking about talking in a very harsh language, then also it is considered to be section 67. For the first conviction, it is 5 lakhs and 3 years. Okay. Here in all the cases it is and, okay, because there is no relaxation if you are doing something in relation to this. First conviction means if you are if you have done it and the cyber cell has detected it, it is 5 lakhs and 3 years. Then for subsequent conviction, it is 10 lakhs and 5 years. Okay, every subsequent conviction, it is going to remain 10 lakhs and 5 years. Now, this obscene material in relation to sexual. Okay, here in prurient interest, it was not explicit. Okay, it was not sexually explicit. Now in 67A, it is sexually explicit. Okay, so you can understand in 67 it can be either just messages or text or stories and all. Just in 67A, now we are talking about explicit images and all. After that 67A, the same depicting children. Okay, the same thing depicting children. Now let's see what are the penalties. It is 10 lakh and 5 years for the first conviction and 10 lakh and 7 years for the subsequent conviction. Okay, now let's see in detail what some more points. Who are children? We are talking about who are not 18 plus, who are engaging in C. What is C? Sexually explicit acts. Okay, if they are engaging in sexually explicit acts and if that kind of material is being transmitted, then 67B is applicable. Okay, then if you are having an online relationship with the children, or you are abusing them online, okay, giving bad words or using harsh language, okay, or you are recording whatever the child is doing, okay, whatever the children are doing, if you are recording, okay. Okay, now remember here one case that if there is any person and he is 18, not 18 plus, okay, if he is 17 or 16 and if he is sending messages to someone, okay, someone who is older, okay, probably a woman who is above 21 or something, and if she replies to him in such a manner, okay, in relation to sexually explicit acts, if she replies him, then it is a contravention by that person, okay, the older person, and not by the children. But if she doesn't respond and then she has not contravened. Now reverse case, okay, if the woman or the person is approaching someone who is less than 18 years old, and he is encouraging them or trying to convince them of conducting sexually explicit acts, then also it is considered to be a contravention. So if a child is approaching you and convincing you, then, and if you are not responding, then you have made sure that you are not contravening something. But if you engage, it is considered to be a contravention. So these 4 points you are supposed to write in exam. Okay, just remember it as O year. O year, online relationship, then engaging in sexually explicit acts, then abusing online, and then recording. After children, now there is one clarification by the Act that section 67, 67A and 67B does not extend to literature, art for public good. Okay, so if there is any person who is 18, not 18 plus, and if there is any artist who is painting something where the child is actually naked, or if he is preparing a sculpture of a small child, okay, and it is for the purpose of art and literature, which is considered to be globally accepted, or it is not considered to be illegal, okay, then it is allowed. Okay, there is no problem with that. So this is a clarification they have given about 67, 67 and 67B. Because if you go into the foreign countries, there are a lot of sculptures of children who are naked and dancing and singing and all. Okay, even that is considered to be sexually explicit acts. Okay, that is the reason they have given this clarification. Okay, this is the clarification. What is the clarification? That if it is for the public good, or if it is a part of literature, art, science and all, then it is considered to be legal and acceptable. Okay. Yes, any problem with any of the sections here we have covered today? Have you understood everything today? Means the part which we have covered.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was a bit hesitant to take this part earlier, but no worries. Okay, let's just pause for 5 minutes. I think. Okay, let me ask some questions so that you can recall some of the sections and all. Tell me which section I'm talking about. I went to the market to purchase some second-hand computer goods. Now, when I asked the person that who is the original owner of the goods, he was not able to tell me the same. Yes, which section we are talking about?
66B.
Is 66B. Then denial of access to the computer system. If I'm enabling
Terrorism 66F.
66F. Cyber terrorism. Then I am using the electronic signature of another director and filing in his own name.
It's the same.
66D.
Yes, it is C or D.
C. Oh no, C.
Okay, it is C, not D.
C.
Then I am accessing the bank account of one of my friends and I am withdrawing 10 lakhs rupees.
Unauthorized access.
66F. F. Cyber terrorism.
See, what I did was, when I withdrew that 10 lakh rupees, I cannot withdraw it unless and until I give the credentials of my friend. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to be my friend. Okay. Be my friend means, okay, I'm doing, yes, cheating my
66D.
person.
Person.
So what they will do in exam is they will twist these MCQs in such a way. Okay. Unnecessarily they will do that. Okay. They will never use the language in the section as it is. Even if you learn the section line by line, everything, still they will twist it. You have seen already the RTP. level of language they are using. Okay, then just remember for B, it is a children. For A, it is a C. What is C? SEA. And 7, just remember prurient interest. Okay, prurient interest. Then, okay, offenses under section 43, there can be a specific short note. Okay, what are the offenses conducted under section 43? Okay, so this is a different concept. Okay, after you write short note on 43, or what you're supposed to write is the penalty for section number 43 is given under section 66. What is the penalty? It is 5 lakhs or 3 years or both. Okay, let's move on now. I hope you have understood all the points. And now let's see some serious sections also. Now you have made an application to the competent authority that you want electronic signature, but when you are making that application, you are suppressing some facts, and or you are doing a misrepresentation. Okay, you are showing your financials and all, and you know that the financials and all you have done window dressing so that you can obtain the electronic signature and all. So you are doing misrepresentation. So in that case, what is the penalty? It is 1 lakhs or 2 years or both. Now, if you are doing misrepresentation, okay, this misrepresentation you can refer from Indian Contract Act 1872. Okay, what is misrepresentation? Then disclosure in breach of contract in relation to person. If you have entered into a contract with someone and then you come to know some personal information about the other person, and intentionally or unintentionally, if you are disclosing it to someone, and if it leads to the breach of contract, then section 72A will be activated. Okay, if you are sharing it with someone who is not related to the contract, or if it doesn't breach the contract, if it is not in relation to any conditions or major conditions of the contract, then it is not considered to be a breach. Okay. So first make sure that it breaches the contract, and then it includes personal information. Personal information plus breach of contract plus disclosure by one of the parties of the contract. So if these three things are there, the section 72A will be activated. What is the penalty? It is 5 lakhs or 3 years or both. Okay. After section 43 offenses, this is the section which has penalty of 5 lakh. Okay. 10 lakh rupees is the maximum amount of penalty as per section IT Act. So we have seen misrepresentation, then breach of contract. Now let's see what will happen if you use a false e-signature. Okay, what is a false e-signature? Just a minute. I don't think it is false. Where did it go? Okay, what does this mean, false e-signature? We have made an application to the competent authority. Okay, we did not fulfill all the requirements, and that is why our e-signature was rejected. Okay, whenever you make an application, a provisional signature is allotted to you. Okay, but if later it is rejected, then that provisional electronic signature is also revoked. Okay, so if it has been revoked, or it has been rejected, or whatever electronic signature that you are using, it is already unauthorized or it is already illegal. Okay, then we will call it a false e-signature. Okay. So if you are filing something using a false e-signature, then again the fine is 1 lakh rupees or 2 years or both. Okay, it may happen that knowingly or unknowingly you are doing the same. You are supposed to see whether your e-signature is valid till date or not. If not, it is not, you are supposed to consult someone and make sure that it is updated. Okay, it is basically the corporate consultancy services people who conduct these kind of services. Then you are using the electronic signature for fraudulent purposes. Okay, for fraudulent purposes. Now let's understand what is fraud. Okay, this fraud is also I'm talking about from Indian Contract Act 1872. Okay, you are making the other person believe that a certain fact is true. Okay, that a certain fact is true, even when you know that it is false. Okay, even when you know that it is false. Okay, once again, what is a fraud? It is making someone believe that a certain statement or fact is true, even if you know that it is false. Okay, that is what is called as fraud. Now, if you have given your electronic signature to someone, or you have created the same, or you have published it somewhere so that everyone can use it, it is considered to be used for fraudulent purposes. You have to use your electronic signature only for authenticating business transactions done by you, and you cannot share it with someone unless and until you are related or involved in that kind of transaction. Okay, so if you are sending it to someone so that they can take benefit of electronic signature, then the fine is 1 lakh rupees, 2 years or more. Okay, what is this electronic signature used for? It is used for authenticating any documents which we are supposed to do e-filing and all. So 71, 73 and 74. We are talking about electronic signature. 72A in between they have given as disclosure in breach of contract. Okay, so 71, 73, 74 you can remember. Then okay, all are 2 years, only 72A in between has 3 years. Huh? Otherwise, rest of them, all of them have 2 years, and also even 1 lakh. Okay. Now let's see about offenses committed outside India. We have already seen this in the beginning that it applies if only if computer system or network is located in India. Okay, under section 75. Okay, so whenever they are asking a question regarding what is the scope of the act, you can mention this section number 75 also in the scope of act. Okay. Then if you are using any computer system, computer resource or any device, okay, in contravention of IT Act 2008, okay, then it is liable for confiscation. It is liable for confiscation. Okay, there is one remedy here that if you prove that this device or this computer system or computer resource was not used in conducting that kind of contravention, that only the person will be put into jail, or only the person will be punished and the computer system will not be confiscated. Okay, so here you have one remedy that you have to prove that it was not used in the contravention. Okay, for example, for capturing those obscene material, if you are using any camera or any laptop and all, okay, so then it is liable for confiscation, because whenever you are creating such kind of material, there is always computer source code included, and that computer source code includes the logs of your computer. So even if you try to modify the format and all, still it is always recorded, and the cyber cell will get hold of the person who has recorded all that in a short period of time. So this contravention, just remember, it is liable for confiscation. Okay, what is CSFCD? CS is computer system, F is floppies, and CD is compact discs. This is only the interesting part we have covered today. Remaining, it is just theory. I am trying to come up with a story to remember all of that. Means I have already prepared it, don't worry about it. Okay. We will just stop here today. Okay, let's see some all more sections today. Okay, we will just do half of them and then we'll stop. And then creation of data in electronic form. We have already seen this in the scope of the act that okay, now here in these sections you have to use one term, that is this is the term you have to use everywhere now in relation to this section. Okay, what is this term? It is notwithstanding anything contained in this act. Okay, notwithstanding anything contained in this act. Okay, so for section number 4, what you have to write is that if you are maintaining books of accounts in electronic format, then notwithstanding anything contained in this act, it will be deemed to be maintained in written or physical form. Okay, it will be deemed to be maintained in written or physical form. Okay, so everywhere whenever you are writing the answer, you have to write this term notwithstanding anything contained in this act. Okay, NWAC. Then electronic signature. Now, if you are supposed to sign in a document and you are supposed to do the e-filing, from now on, the electronic signature also, notwithstanding anything contained in the act, will be considered as a signature done by the certain person. Then e-filing. Again, what is e-filing talking about? It is saying that if you are filing the documents in electronic format, notwithstanding anything contained in this act, again, it will be deemed to be the documents are filed with the government department. Okay, so these are actually very easy sections, but we will take them tomorrow or else we will just forget them. Okay, your maximum per day limit should be 20 sections, not more than that. Even if you are learning it, I am telling you, don't do it. Okay, it is okay to read the matter inside it, but just don't memorize more than 20 sections in a day. Okay, so now we'll stop.